What's up? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Trek Through Poetry. Um, yeah, it's your man, Soul Toucha the Poet, embarking on this mission here with my poetry and my journey through poetry. I had uploaded the first episode, and what had happened was DaVinci Resolve did not like my recording, but I'm here to drop a second episode, and I just wanted to come through real quick, um, and do what I didn't do before. Like I said, I had three books. I published three books. Um, Here's my first one: "Taste My Poetry, Taste My Soul." That's my first work that I put out there. Um, yeah, it was my first one after a long road of debating, contemplating, and all of that, just to you know start talking to people. And that's the good thing about when I started doing open mic. You get to talk to people about their experiences, their journeys, and what they struggled with, and stuff of that nature. Um, so the one person that I had talked to had told me about the Create Space is what it was at first when I went to it. Now it's Amazon Direct Pub, whatever it is, on Amazon. But that made it easy to publish my first book. Um, that did pretty good. It sold what it sold, and actually, when I went to a school reunion, Spenderella was the DJ, um, and I gave her a signed copy, had her sign a copy for me, collector's piece, and that's when that book got a lot more traction. But since then, it's moving as it moves. You know, not looking forward to hit the New York Times bestseller list, but hey, here's my first book. Then here's my second one, Ballads of a Poeteer. This one, so back to the first one. The first one, I just threw a whole bunch of pieces in there that I've written over a lot of times, from 97 up until, I want to say, 2014, 2015. That's what's in this book right here. But I just threw them in there just to have a product out, something to push, and things of that nature. This one, Ballads of a Poeteer, I think let me see. The first one came out, what, 2015? Let me make sure I got my, it's a shame that I don't remember this, but this one came out, yes, 2015. Published this one in 2015. Um, and then the second one, this one, 2017. I thought it was 2006, but 2017, 2 years later. This is actually the second cover for it. I still have a copy. I still have copies with the original cover, but I decided to change the cover, and then I noticed that I had to do few edits, so I had to reissue this out. So this is the second edition of this book. Um, my third book, as I said before, Soul Touch the Poet presents the Book of King, quotes, thoughts, and implications, and this is published 2020. And that's what this one. This one is a lot of stuff that I posted on social media, like quotes and stuff like that. I had, I was going through a creative phase where I just posting quotes of, you know, just whatever relatable to life, my life, your life, whatever life, things that I was seeing out there in the streets or whatever. Um, and the thought process behind that was, hell, I can make my own goddamn quotes. Who needs pre-made quotes when I'm capable enough of making my own? Um, it's so easy out here in social media to repost. Um, but hey, anybody can pull up a piece of paper, a pen, a thought, or whatever, and write their own quotes down. So, um, So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to my big book, as I said. This is that book, and actually on the cover is a poem that I wrote in memory of Marciana Ringo, who was unfortunately taken from us by her mother's boyfriend. Um, I went to the funeral. It was a highly publicized thing. It's sad. It's a sad situation. Um, that it was just unfortunate that that happened. Um, and so I wrote that poem and I gave it to her mother at the funeral. Um, I don't know if she still has it or anything like that, but it was just something that I wanted to do out of the kindness of my heart. I need to go through and edit it a little bit because I went back and looked at it and noticed that it had a little, ugh, that's not good. A few errors in it, but grammatical errors or what spelling errors or something. But um, I'm gonna go back and read through it, make the necessary edits, and and present that in an upcoming episode, either on the podcast or on my YouTube channel. Um, I'm gonna do it on my YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, so Toucha the Poet, and look for the Trek Poetry thing on there, because I'm gonna do that coming up probably in the next, I want to say next 2.5 weeks, something like that. Um, so I already got some pieces that I want to put out there and present. So just be ready for that. So again, like I said, I'm gonna go back to the big book and drop a little something out of here that is um, just a random piece. This one is called Twist of Fate. Um, so here we go. Twist of Fate. I live my life in very unpleasant ways, often plotting on what I wanted as far as materialistic gains. Not once did I ever take into consideration the respect for others, and I damn sure didn't have any respect for my fellow sisters and brothers. I figure life has not been all that it could be to me. I didn't have much like money, love, or the strength of a good family. So I chose to just run wild and free like a hurricane breeze. Whatever stood in my path was knocked down to its knees. My soul was diseased and my heart was soiled. Why should I be the only one to deal with intense turmoil? I had no optimism for being a better person or anything going right. I didn't have the confidence to conquer this internal fight. There were many days that I wished that I could find a way to just die. Scared to take my own life, I just sit alone, bury my face into my hands, and just cry. I just didn't care for anything or anyone. I even used to drink every day and just stare passionately at my loaded gun. Yes, I was fooling myself going through all of this false pain. I even recall the days when I couldn't stand the rain. They say in time and in God's hands, things will get better. I thought it was a lie because when it rained, I got even wetter. My ne- my life never seemed to impress me at all. Every time I set a goal to get every time I set a goal to get up, my self-esteem convinced me that it was a waste of time and all I would do was fall. One day, I truly decided to look to the sky and call upon the Lord. I said to him, Father, I am tired. I want to stand and never feel like I'm going to fall. Looking back on the carelessness of my past, I could actually look back and say, mentally, I would have been able to last. I've learned to live and die by the sword and let everything in my life be vested by the Lord. I used to be bitter and everything in life to me couldn't equate, but I've submitted to the Lord and this truly was a twist of fate. Wow. Interesting piece. I'm going to assume that 2001. I'm going to assume that I was dealing with a lot, um, mainly family, um, and as I mentioned in there, financial and stuff like that. So yeah, I was probably in a slightly dark place when I wrote that. Not a horrible place, but it's those times where I'm glad that I had poetry to help me escape from a lot of that nonsense that I was going through. Um, Cause yeah, that was my therapy. Um, Come to think about it, a lot of things that was going on during that time period really wasn't in my favor. Um, yeah, because I was still in the National Guard, and it was like hell. I was still a yeah, I was still an E4 at that time, so specialist. So I joined National Guard in '97. I wrote that in 2001. So from '97 to like '03, '04, I was a E4. That's a long time. Mind you, I was a E4 when I came off active duty in '95. So it was just a lot going on then. And I was buck wild, and life it just wasn't in the right perspective for me. But yeah, that's how that was coming through that time. But yeah, but again, I just want to come back here because the first one that I uploaded, I put the intro in there, the outro on there, and then when I uploaded it, it just didn't go right, and it didn't accept the whole thing. Like the video said 13 and a half minutes, and the audio was like 7.5 minutes, and so I had to re-upload that. But hopefully this time it uploads properly and you get the proper video. But again, Soul Touch the Poet, Trek Through Poetry. This is episode 2. Um, Make sure you connect with me on all social media. Um, uh, Wherever. No, on the Q&A on this, go ahead and drop me a you know, reply to what you thought about this poem or this episode. Do the same thing with the first one in each episode that I come up with. Um, and again, thank you for coming with me on this journey, whoever is out there listening. Um, and again, I hope to, bring other creatives on here so we can talk about their trek through poetry because, poetry is a journey for everyone. Um, and I tell everyone out there that everyone's a poet. People say, "Oh, I can't do this." Like, yeah, if you got a pen, you got a piece of paper, you can be a poet. It doesn't. I think one of the biggest misconceptions out there is it has to rhyme, and that was one of mine back when I first started. Hell, I didn't even know what a stanza was when I first started writing. So yeah, so I mean, my knowledge of poetry has come a long way. There's always growth in it, but the big thing to remember is you write for you, and that is the symbolic title behind this podcast and what I'm doing on YouTube, Trek Through Poetry, because just like in life, your journey is your journey, and only you can walk in your path and in your you can walk your path in your shoes. Nobody else can do that for you or anything like that. So, again, um, make sure you check me out on all social media platforms. I'm out there. So, hey, that's what it is. So touch the poet, trek through poetry, and I'll catch you on the next one.